Go ahead and introduce yourself.
Hey everybody, I'm Erik Qualman. A lot of you know me as Equalman, and it's such an honor to be here joining all of you here today.
Thanks for being here. Now you have a story prepared. Let's just jump right into it. Set the scene for us.
Yeah, I mean, a lot of people like myself and all you listeners out there, I'm sure a lot of us want to have control over everything, especially they just like think you can own the world, especially type A personalities. And so I'm speaking from the heart here. But it's understanding that a lot of times God's going to do stuff for you, not to you. But in the moment, sometimes you're like, I can't believe this is happening to me. And then when you look back, it's really, you understand this is happening for me. And this has happened several times in my life, but one that really stands out was when I was younger. So in high school, I just want you to think about when you're in high school, just kind of, if you have to, close your eyes and just want you to think, what was your ultimate dream? Penultimate, this is your dream. And it could be you wanted to be like the CEO, you wanted to be a rock star, whatever it was, you wanted to be a dancer. Mine was, I wanted to play college basketball. So not NBA. So I just wanted to play college basketball. But as a junior, and I'm trucking along, doing pretty well. But then as a junior, I was cut from our high school team. And so a lot of us think the dream ends. Part of me is like, oh my gosh, my dream has died. So it's hard to fight that. And then I went to college and I went to university at Michigan State University, which at the time they were ranked #1 in the country in basketball. So I want to be part of the program. So I love basketball. So I want to be part of the program. So I tried out you had to try out to become the water boy. They call them managers, but I literally had to try out to become the water boy. That's how competitive it is at the #1 team in the country. So I was fortunate to make it as a manager. So I'm the water boy. But that dream really doesn't die. All you know this, it kind of is always whispering at you. And so it's still wanted to play college basketball, but I never verbalized it. I was afraid to tell people. People laugh at you. And plus it seemed crazy, right? I was cut from my high school team as a junior. I wound up playing as a senior, but it wasn't anything spectacular. No one recruited me. And then I started watching him practice and I go, all right, you can do it. Let's do it. So I realized that I didn't need to shoot anymore. What I realized was I needed to put on weight. I had to put on muscle. And then fortunately I grew 2 inches. So I went from basically 6'4", 6'5" to 6'7". And then I put on 50 pounds. So you hear freshman 15, I went the extreme and put on 50 pounds. To get to a level where I could compete. And then I realized my junior year, I could probably make the team, but I didn't have the guts to come to the coaches or talk to anybody about it. Then it was that moment when you're pushed against the wall that I go, wait, that realization, this is my last year. Most people don't know this, but once you start college, your eligibility starts ticking. Even if you're not playing, your eligibility starts once you start going to school. So I go, I only have a year left. So I got nothing to lose. So now I started telling people that I knew probably wouldn't laugh, that more support me. So those are my brothers first, family, then close friends. Hey, I want to make the basketball team. And they didn't laugh. They go, well, let's do it. Let's get to the gym. So they were there waking me up. All of a sudden I had a support group. And then occasionally, so going back a little bit, my junior year, occasionally I'd get into practice. This would happen once or twice a year. People get hurt, they're sick. They're just like, Qualman, we need like a practice dummy, get in here. And so, because there's only 13 players, if 3 are out, they need a player. So I get in there and I go, this is my moment. Like I'd realized I think I had the guts to try out for the team. So I go, this is my moment to show them that I'm better than the 11th, 12th, 13th guy, that I should be on the team. And so I'm playing really well. All the shots are going in. The ball's literally bouncing your way. I go, I can't believe this is happening for me. This is amazing. Everything's going well. And then a moment in time, disaster struck. Or looking back, it was really fate struck. That I took an elbow in the mouth and it knocked out a couple teeth. Now I was born with 2 teeth missing. So this is also divine intervention. So I hated having 2 teeth missing when I was born because you had to have special bridge space. And as a kid, teenager, you just don't like that. You don't have the dental work to have your mouth just be different to have that bridge work. But it kind of comes in handy here because I get teeth knocked out. I actually had 4 total, 2 that are fake and 2 that are real. But the trainer came over and said, hey, you got to stop. I go, no. Those are just my fake teeth. It's not a big deal. It doesn't really hurt. And put them in a towel, like to hide them. And then we kept playing. And then 20 minutes later, the trainer came in and goes, hey, the gig's up. We saw those are 2 like deep roots. They're ripped out. There's blood all over that towel. We're going to the dentist right now. So the whole ride to the dentist, all I could think of, wow, I can't believe in my moment, what unfortunate luck. Why are you doing this to me? This is ridiculous. Like what? I was so bummed out that this is going to cost me a chance to be on the team. Well, the next day at the basketball practice, Coach Izzo, who's still coaching at Michigan State, he actually just broke the record for most Big Ten wins of all time. He's in the Hall of Fame. He was inducted in 2016. He's still coaching. One of the best coaches of all time. He said, Qualman, I don't know if you're the dumbest guy I know or the toughest guy I know. And that was his way of saying job well done. And then I wound up making the team and finally got a scholarship to play basketball at Michigan State for Coach Izzo. And looking back after talking to Coach, because he has us up there every year for reunions, I was just with him a couple weeks ago. Realization was he didn't need another person to make shots, another person to dribble. He wanted someone that could get knocked down and show that grit and grind and get back up. Because that's what he wanted at the time, as early in his career. He wanted to build the foundation of the entire culture of Michigan State on grit and grind. So looking back, if I didn't get my teeth knocked out, I might not have made the team. That actually helped me out probably more than anything. If I made 20 more shots, it wouldn't have mattered. It was getting your teeth knocked out and getting back up. And so this moment on the way to the dental office thinking, I can't believe this happened to me. Now I look back and go, I can't believe that happened for me. And so all you listeners out there, you're going through a tough time right now. You're going to hit the wall on certain things. You're not going to realize it more times than not. You're going to look back and go, wow, thank you for having that happen for me, not to me.
So that's become the mantra in the back of your mind, right? When something is bad, you just switch the 2 to the 4 and you're able to continue on. It helps you shift your mindset.
As much as I can. It's really hard because those first couple of days, it's going to be rough. And then you've got to get through it to get out of that darkness and realize, wait, all these times in my life, it was eventually looking back, this actually happened for me, not to me. It made me better.
There's that old Buddhist story of the farmer.
Yes.
Right, where he breaks his leg and we'll see. Yeah, maybe.
Perhaps. Yeah.
I want to shift a little bit. There's a question on the show that we've been exploring recently, and I want to get your thoughts on it. So I was raised really super hyper religious, and I was also raised to be, and this happened for me. Here I am years later, no longer Mormon, no longer Christian. I wouldn't consider myself that way, even though a lot of our guests have been. And there was this focus from our parents and our clergy and our youth leaders and all the folks that were involved to focus on the feeling of the spirit, that burning in your bosom, or I don't know if it's serotonin or dopamine or both or some mix of it. But if you really focus on the moment and on like trying to feel it, they would try to have you feel God's presence, right? You could have this feeling. I'm curious, have you ever felt that before? Anything like that, like a spirit, some people call it?
I have, yeah. Not too often, but yes.
So the question on the show right now is, physiologically, something has to happen to you to feel that. You have to actually it has to be somewhere in your body. I'm curious, right? Like, is it all physiological in those moments? Are we just creating those things from the synesthetic effect of us expecting to feel the feeling? Or do you really think there is something that is coming in and touching some part of our physiology to elicit that feeling? What do you think?
I think like most things in life, it's both. It's a balance. It's that, if you think about light, dark, it's going to be the balance. So I think it's in you, and then something happens to unlock that. And then, at least that's in my mind, that's how it's worked for me. There's major moments. It might be like when my grandmother died. All of a sudden you're looking as you drive for 5 hours in Florida, all of a sudden there's just this light that perceptually, I've never seen that light like that before. And is that someone sending a note? Or my best friend passed away from cancer at a couple of years ago, a fairly young age. And it was just crazy that a song came on the radio that I hadn't heard since high school. And it was like our favorite song. So and then all of a sudden I turned down a road to get to my parents' house because the funeral was in Michigan. In the road's his last name, which I never noticed that before, even though I'd been that road down several times. And I think that song's on, and then you look at the sign, and it's his last name. So in my mind, that just can't be coincidence. And so there's moments that occur like that to where you just go, there's something bigger at work here. And I think to your question, I think some of it's inside and some of it's outside. And in Austin, it's interesting because a lot of thought leaders down here. And so there's a dinner coming up, just like, are you living in a simulation? So this stuff can get pretty esoteric pretty quick. to where it's like, sometimes you're like, wait, what's that sign say? You're like asking other people, like, that sign says Peters, right? They're like, yeah. And so you got to check it sometimes. But there's been some moments, and those are two that really stand out vividly.
You've done quite a bit with your life. You've got a CV, you've got several books, and you've spoken all over the world. How do you stay on top of your goals? And I guess what is a goal that you're working towards right now, if you're willing to share it?
Yeah, I mean, the core goal for me is always be the best dad as possible. So I always say, can I achieve the mug? They give you the mug, number one dad, which a lot of people have. Can I strive to be the number one dad in my house? And so that's the one job, or anything, vocation, anything, any role in life you can be replaced, except for as a parent to your kids. And so that always grounds me. And so that's always making sure, and the world pulls at you. And sometimes you're like, wait, I got to look better at my schedule. How did I get this all lined up and I missed this event? Because it still happens. But I've gotten better over time at doing that. But that's the number one goal always. In terms of goals for just from a business standpoint, I've got a kid's book. I've never written a children's book. All my other books are really business related and adult books. And this one's K through 6. And it came out of an opportunity that I was given. It's a school district had asked me to speak at their convocation. I didn't know what that was, but it's basically kicks off their school year with all their bus drivers, their teachers, their people working in the lunchroom. And so they use my glasses, the green glasses. They'd wear them every Friday to remind the kids to be kind, remind the teachers to be kind. And so the superintendent said, you should write a book that can be utilized to remind people that what we learn here at school is very important, but the most important thing is being able to work with others and to be kind. And so that's what I'm focused on, is that getting that book out. So I got to figure out how to do that, because I need to get a publisher, because it's a different genre than I usually do. Yeah.
Right.
Yeah.
Oh, that's cool. Selfishly, right? I'm a father, and I have an interesting mix, because my older son, I have an 8-year-old. He was born with a traumatic brain injury, and so, man, I expect him to be normal, and then I'm constantly reminded that he's not. And I am a type A personality. I didn't experience a ton of abuse, but I have a tendency to get angry, and that's why, like, I've been on a path of Zen throughout my life, with that goal in mind as well, right? To get that number one dad mug.
Yeah.
I'm curious, what has moved the needle for you the most? What has helped you improve as a father the most in your life? Is there a book or a lesson or literature that you would point to, or advice that you got from a male or female leader in your life that helped you become a better dad, that helped you elevate yourself and get past all of your idiosyncrasies that might make you forget that they're a kid, and you just gotta see through that and be patient? Give me some advice.
Yeah, I mean, this is a learning over time for me. And it might not work for all your listeners, but for me, it's always time. So how do I allocate as much time as possible? And this is when you're tired, when they want to read a book in bed, and when you're exhausted. But that time, that window, you got to remind yourself, this is such a lucky time in your life, that this is going to go by so fast, that it's really just trying to make sure that, am I there when I'm needed? And also to understand, to talk with them as much as possible. They're not adults, their prefrontal cortex isn't developed, but try to get their opinion and work with them as much as possible. And then set guidelines where it's going to help them, but also have them part of it, not just think about yourself. You're more bought in when you're kind of collectively deciding how to attack things, which is hard to do, because the easiest thing would be like, just do this, or don't.
This is the rule. Yeah.
Or on the other side, it's easy to hand, just when they're younger or even when they're older, here's your phone, here's your iPad, I just need some quiet time. And there's moments when you can do that, but you just don't want to make it the norm. And so my wife was really good about this. We'd go on road trips. She'd say, we're not taking the iPad. I go, well, can we at least just have it like there as backup if all hell breaks loose? And we'd take it more times than not. These are 15-hour road trips. We wouldn't need it. It was there in case there was a meltdown and just needed some to get things back under control. But the kids will entertain themselves. They'll come up with stories. They'll make boxes for their stuffed animals. Yeah, they'll do everything. It's great. And that's true as teens too. We're just down on the coast, and our daughters are teenagers, tweens and teens. And just like adults, at a downtime when you're an adult, you're going to go to your phone to look stuff up, usually being productive. And a lot of times what they're doing is actually productive. But if you give them the option to play a board game, they will. And so it's really just understanding, give them that optionality and just kind of be their time. So the short answer is time to allocate when you're needed.
Erik, it's been a pleasure interviewing you today. Where can everyone find you?
Easy to find. It's just first initial, last name's Equalman across the board. So equalman.com and Equalman on social. But feel free to reach out if I can help in any way. Please let me.
Thank you so much for coming on the show.
Thanks, Erik.
This has been the Pulse Ox podcast. Please, if you found this episode valuable, give us a like on Spotify and share it with a friend.